In today's video, I'm doing research into film magazine front covers. Now if you have a look into current film magazine front covers, we can see very different factors. For example, in this magazine front cover, we see a bold text. Now this text grabs the viewer's eyes and makes them want to, well, if it's a popular magazine, then they'll know that will separate them from the other magazines. So that's the brand of the name. Also, we see here, sort of that can grab your eyes, got an exclamation mark, and it says Harry comes out fighting. Now this one in particular is to do with Harry Potter, so it's going to make you wonder, oh, what's happening, what can you expect. Also, massive preview special. It mentions here, this is eye-grabbing as people, especially that people interested in Harry Potter's films, they will want to know what's happening. And also we see a picture in the background which allows us to have some insight into what could possibly happen. For example, we see sort of blood on Harry Potter's face. This could intrigue a person to know what's happened to Harry Potter. So as I said before, the strapline attracts the audience and intrigues them to what they want to know, what else is going to happen. Also, this picture helps promote the film itself by giving some insight into what could happen. So maybe first they would see the magazine front cover, then they would want to see the trailer, and then when the film comes out in cinema or when it's released on Blu-ray or DVD, they can go and watch it and that'll make them intrigued to know what's happening. Also, the audience can familiarise the picture as they know it is definitely going to be Harry Potter, and also as we can see here it says Harry Potter 6, so it tells you maybe what number of Harry Potter it is, so it's the latest one out. And also the star here links with this, so as we can see it says bloody hell, Harry comes out fighting. Now if you're a Harry Potter fan, you're going to wonder like, oh, so who's Harry Potter had a battle with or a fight with? As we can see, he is covered in blood, so he didn't exactly come off scot-free. Now as I said before, the tagline gives the audience a insight into what the character's like, and this can be quite catchy itself. Now if we go and have a look at some different ones, now if we take a look on the general search and options that have come up on the screen, we can see that the brand Empire comes up in predominantly most of these. As we can see, the first 8, there's 7 out of 8 of these magazine front covers are from Empire. So having a catchy and well-known strapline is going to be quite key if you want to make a successful film magazine front cover. Now also, if we look at this one here, the text of the Empire itself links into the Iron Man's artificial heart, the colour of it, which for people, including myself, that have watched the Iron Man series and all the films, they will know and understand why maybe the text is in that certain colour. So it could intrigue previous viewers into wanting to know, oh look, so his artificial heart is still working. In particular, this is number 2, and as it said here on this little sub-strap line, it says new suit, new enemies, same attitude. Now this is very catchy and would want to intrigue the viewer into knowing what new enemies is he going to fight. And it mentions the new suit there, so what's his new suit going to look like? Is it going to look like this? So it's going to leave the viewer asking many questions like, who's going to be his new enemies, and what's his new suit going to look like? Is it this? And now Robert Downey Jr. plays his character, who's called Tony Stark, very well by applying a very sort of resilient, macho attitude to the character. So the same attitude applying to the second one will make the viewer want to come back and see, oh, so he's going to have the same attitude, which is the same sort of, he's kind of a badass in sort of what character he plays. Also, at the bottom of the page we see these new films which can maybe apply to the demographic that watch Iron Man. So Robin Hood, Avatar and Kick-Ass are very well-known films, including a lot of CGI and special effects, as it included in Iron Man. Now also, if we see here, it says first look. Now this will give, if it's promising a first look into the second Iron Man, which other magazines may have not explored, so it's giving the readers of the Empire magazines a first look above every other demographic and audience. So they're the first to hear and read on about the new Iron Man. Also, if we notice here, on a purchasing point of view, it includes the price. Let me see if I can. It includes the price here, which is $3.99. So this will give the person who's going to buy the magazine, obviously, the first insight to how much it's going to cost. Now, selling a magazine as a whole, you're going to have to sort of maybe ergonomically price the magazine in terms of how much is the reader willing to pay. Is there a cheaper alternative as a competitor? So they want to apply directly to the demographic to make sure that they pick up their magazine and not a cheaper alternative. Also, the background of the poster itself, the magazine front cover, is sort of very linked to sci-fi, so it follows the same sort of colour the whole way through, so that it's not full of different colours. It's very neat and tidy, and in a way it's quite simple, but at the same time being very in-depth. Going ahead, we are now looking at the same make, which is Empire again, but a totally different film. Now this particular magazine front cover is promoting a collector's edition of the Star Wars. Now the first thing that grabs my attention, being a Star Wars fan myself, is saying behind the mask, so we get to see maybe people that haven't seen all the Star Wars in the right order maybe think, oh, who is benched, wanting to know who is under the mask if you don't already know. Now on this one, which is also Empire, we see an interesting strapline at the top saying the world's biggest movie magazine. Now this is itself is self-promoting the magazine as being, as it says, the biggest movie magazine. So anyone that is not familiar with magazines is going to want to think, oh, they're the best, so I need to get them. They're going to fill me in with the most amount of information that's going to be relevant to what I want to know. And this one in particular is for The Hobbit. So again, at the bottom there is another strapline. Your return to Middle-earth starts here. Now people that are interested in sort of the fiction and adventure category or genre are going to love this style of magazine, and in particular this actual magazine. Also, we again see a barcode here, and the price up there. Now what I've noticed with Empire magazines, looking at a variety, is that the layout is very much the same, but in terms of there being different films that they are included on the magazines, it changes. So the text is always going to be at the top, obviously, with the price in between the M. If I can just get a comparison right here. So let's look for another Empire magazine. Here. In particular, this one is Harry Potter. Let's just go back onto this one. There we are, just here. There we go. That's also an example. The Avengers, again, the price is there. And also this one's even very much more simple. It includes all of the, well, not all of the Avengers, but a few, for example. So you've got Tony Stark as Iron Man, you've got Captain America, you've got Black Widow, and you've got Thor. Now, myself being an Avengers fan, I'm going to look at this straight away and understand what characters are on there, what their abilities are, and want to find out. Maybe it says, look here, if you can see it here, just try and zoom in, the Avengers limited edition subscriber only cover. So that's a limited edition magazine, so it's going to include limited edition information, which myself would want to see if maybe it's up and coming new Avengers films, information about villains and new characters. So as I was saying, Empire, they include the prices in exactly the same places, which is good for returning customers because they know where to look to find out exactly where it is, instead of having to, for example, let's use this Empire, for example, let's use a film magazine, which is a different brand. See, me being a new customer to this particular magazine, I'm not going to know. Me being a new customer to this magazine, I'm not going to know where the price is and see any sort of clear way of knowing how much it costs and whether or not to buy it. Also comparing the total film magazine to the Empire magazine, is that there seems to be a lot more information on the front. See, we've got the Hulk, Spider-Man, Ant-Man, which is an up-and-coming film, and also there's a lot more information on here, which could get in the way, but in a way sort of gives the reader some more insight into what maybe the magazine includes. So concluding this video, upon seeing a selection of different film magazine covers, I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to base mine off of the Empire magazine because of the way it's set out. I think that having your magazine quite simple is very good, because it's not going to be very busy in the sense of there's going to be loads of information on the page that's you don't know where to look, for example. So you want to see a clear title, the character or protagonist on the front. In particular, this is Quentin Tarantino's film Inglourious Basterds, which is a great film. So me being a viewer of this film, I will know exactly who that is and what relevance the knife has to the film. If not, then also it'll intrigue new readers into possibly wanting to find out what the film's about, what the plot is like, and what characters it includes. And also including a price in a simple place, so the viewer is always going to go back to it and know where it is, and little bits of maybe what is to further include inside the magazine.